Hey everyone, this is Chris and Sandy back with the Chris and Sandy Show. We get up close and personal with some amazing guests throughout the entertainment industry. And today we got a great one for you. Who do we have?
Yes, we have Taylor McIntosh. He's a singer, songwriter, dancer, and actor, and also an accomplished pianist and guitarist. He recently released the songs Money on Your Deathbed featuring Richie Sambora and Sorry Comes Too Easy. His next single, Clair and the Moonlight, will drop on June 8th on Spotify.
And we're excited to have him on the
Yes,
show.
we are.
So
I'm
welcome
excited
to the
to
show.
be here. I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
So I always like to get started the same way. We kind of talked a little bit about this beforehand, but how has COVID affected you and what have you done to maneuver through this crazy year that we had?
Yeah, the whole quarantine thing was really like a crazy thing that happened for us, but I feel very blessed that I'm able to say it was almost in some ways like beneficial for me and my family.
Oh, wow.
Because this last year has been just like, it's given us that that ability to just like fully focus on music, like really like hardcore, to where I'm like writing songs every single day and I'm working every day. And it's been like,
Wow.
like we've made so much music over like the whole COVID period. It's been like really great for me, at least. I feel like I've really advanced in my songwriting abilities, which I feel like is the whole goal. Like,
Yes,
you want to get better.
right.
Yeah, that's one of the hard things to balance when you're on a full schedule and you're doing events and events and events, and then where do you find the time to then do the craft?
Right.
Exactly. And I guess the only downfall is there's no live performances. Like there's been
Yeah.
zero live performances, and I don't have a ton of experience with live performances. So that's something that I really want to do. I want to get that practice in. Plus, it's just so much fun being able to play live and like entertain everyone. So I'm really happy that right now it's like kind of starting to open up.
Yes, it
Yeah,
is. We're so excited
Yeah,
to see,
especially
live
in
entertainment
Nashville.
coming
It's all
back.
over Nashville. And Nashville
Oh, yeah.
and Texas is like fully open. And
Mhm.
Florida.
Oh yeah, Florida, Georgia.
There's a lot of
Few
events
places,
going on.
yeah.
And I'm talking people are packed in. So if there's any
Oh,
test for where we are as a country, COVID-wise, this summer will be it.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that this summer, starts to open up. I really want to start performing and, try to push my name out that way, more of
Yeah,
an old school way.
absolutely.
Hey, Joe. Our buddy Joe's on.
Oh yes, hi Joe.
Hey, Joe.
He does a podcast too that really great. He interviews
Oh, yes.
sports people
Mhm.
and all that. So he's really good.
podcast there.
But that's like for us, COVID kind of was a good thing for us too, because we launched this show January 2020, so a couple months before
Yeah,
COVID happened.
Yeah.
And our original plan was 100 interviews our first year,
we thought that would be a lot.
and we thought that was pushing it, 100 interviews. And that's basically 2 a week. But when you got family and other things you got to do, that's a lot. And then COVID happens. And
Yes.
I told Sandy as I watched the whole entertainment industry drop, I was like, people have time right now. And we may never find this position ever again. So we got to
That's
take
probably
advantage
true.
of this. So I was like, so we reached out to everybody. I bought into some of these lists where you find the agents of like your Blake Sheltons and all that. And I reached out to everybody. And because of that, we did over 300 interviews last year and we're over 400 now.
That's incredible. I mean, talk about like pushing the bar right there.
Goal was 100 and hit 3.
Yeah.
You said 100, you tripled that.
It's been fun though.
It has. That
meeting-
was a silver lining for us last year.
And one of the big silver linings too came about a couple months in. We got an email wanting 6 of their artists on our show, and one of them was Anna Christina Cash. And I was like, I wonder if she's related to the Cash family. Come to find out, she's married to John Carter Cash, Johnny Cash's and June Carter Cash's son. I was like, oh yes, we want all 6, and we definitely want her first. And she kind of was she brought out Carlene Carter, then Jenny Gill, and
Taylor Lynn.
Taylor Lynn, and some of the other people within the Legends family.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of solidified our show as a real show then because of that. Where are you at with what you're trying to do? Has there been that moment where you're like, wow, this was a breakthrough?
Yeah. I feel like right now it's kind of, it's early career, right? I'm very much early career, but I think for me, it's always about the music, right? It's always about the song. So when I was writing these songs and then I was bringing them to my dad and he kept getting progressively more and more impressed to where the point he's like, wow, like this is like a good song, like not just like a good song for someone who's learning, like this is a good song. I think right there I realized like, yeah, I can do this. And then when I met my producer and I brought him music and he was like, where are these songs coming from? Like, how are you writing these already?
Oh, wow.
It's just like, that was kind of the eye opener. Like, it's like, give me a little more confidence and like, yeah, I can do this. Like I have it in me.
So that was kind of the moment where it clicked for you, where you're like, okay, this could be a career.
Yes, exactly.
I love that story. So what are some hobbies you like to do outside of music? Because before we really get deep into your story, I always like to kind of talk about light stuff.
I love video games. So like if I'm just like at home and I have nothing to do, I usually like to play video games because I have a best friend and I used to live in Colorado and he still lives in Colorado. So that's been our way of like, staying like really close, is just through video games. Cause it's weird. It's like when you play video games, you feel like you're with the person. I don't know how to explain it.
Thank God for technology, right?
Oh, yes.
It just feels like you're hanging out still. It's kept us really close. And, I love spending time with my family. Obviously, I'm with them all the time. So we love movies. Like I'm just a massive like movie person. So we're just always watching movies. And yeah, that's pretty much what I do for fun most of the time besides music and, just like other things like, go for workout or go for a run or something.
Yeah.
So what would you say is something unusual about you that people don't know?
Ooh. That's a good question. I would say what's kind of unusual is, well, I have some old stuff. Like I used to actually be like really into like magic, like close-up magic and all that, which is kind of funny because I don't think anyone would like expect that.
Oh, wow.
Were you trying to be like David Copperfield?
I saw him live actually in Vegas.
Oh, cool.
Oh, wow.
That was so fun. He is really entertaining and he is really good.
Awesome.
Like he made like a whole like airplane up here, just like out of thin air. It's like
was you looking, trying to find, okay, how did he pull that one off?
I don't know if I'm figuring that one out. I'm going to be honest. That one was extreme. Maybe some of the
pretty impressive.
But that one I was. There's nothing to say. He made an airplane just come out of nowhere.
Wow.
I love it. Now, as you know, a lot of people, they see the glory of like your Blake Sheltons, of Carrie Underwoods, and all the big artists, but they don't see the grind, the sacrifice, the tears, the struggles that it takes, not just to get to their level, but even a career level within the entertainment world. And I always want to talk about that because I think that a lot of people kind of sugarcoat this side of it because they only want us to focus on the glory. But we both know that there's way more to, in fact, you have a lot more no's than you do yeses when it comes to music. So let's talk about the sacrifice side.
Yeah.
Tell us about the things that you have had to go through to get to even where you are today.
Well, I currently like this week just graduated high school for the first time.
Oh, wow.
I'm done with high school. And I guess kind of the sacrifice there is if you really want to do music, you're kind of, you're sacrificing a safe path in life.
Yeah, exactly.
I could go to college right now. I could go for a degree, get like, a good job to where I feel like financially stable, or I can pursue something that in some ways is bigger than me and see if I can make it work. So right now I've had to, I'm sacrificing college to do this.
Wow.
Because that's just how much I want it,
And I love that honesty because, in this day and time, if you say that, people think you're crazy.
Yeah. I get that all the time. I went to the doctor and the doctor's like, okay, they ask me about life. They're like, oh, you graduated. So what are you going to do? You're going to go to college. And when I tell them like, no, I'm not going to go to college. I'm going to pursue music. But it's like, it's like blasphemy to them. Like they look at me like I'm crazy. And I'm like, listen, like there needs to be Da Vinci's of the world, the Michelangelos. And some of us are, that's just our passion, and that's where we want to, you know, that's the path we want to take.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there needs to be hosts like us, because again, you know,
Yeah.
I'm 49, I'll be 50 this year, and we started this crazy career, even though we make no money with this yet.
Yeah.
But we started this crazy new career at age I was 48 then, and you know, people would probably think I'm crazy, but you know what? We have this dream. We've poured everything into this show. We do side jobs in the evening so that we can stay afloat and stay together. And we're just trying to make this run like you are in this crazy entertainment world that do we know if we'll make it big like a Bobby Bones show? We believe we will.
We don't know.
But again, it's one of them things. It's one of them faith things where, you know what? We'll never know if we don't try.
Yeah, and that's in right there is like, you know, there's so much truth to that. Like, you should be able at any age to, like, if you have a dream, like, just go for it. Like, you know, and I think that's how life is, you know, it shouldn't be something where you're constantly just like, oh, I'm planning for my future, like my future, because all you have is right now.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah, because you could be dead in a year. You know, so many people like, and talking about the college route, and it's great that you've got parents that I guess believe in what you're doing, because there's a lot of people that don't. I remember so many people that I'm friends with, and they're say 15, 20 years into their careers, and they're miserable. And you sit down with them to try to kind of find out why they're miserable. And you're like, you know, you got this great lifestyle, you got this great family, you've got this great career, and a lot of times they'll stop. Oh, well, no, career's the problem. Like, what do you mean the career's the problem? You went to 4 or 6 years of college for this. It's like, well, it wasn't for me. It's like, what do you mean it wasn't for you? Well, my parents, my guidance counselor, my friends all said what I wanted to do couldn't make money. Therefore, I need to find something like this that could. And so they gave up on all these passions that they had inside of them to go pursue this mask identity. And pun intended, of course. But this mask identity. And so now here it is. They've been doing this over and over and over for 15 years of their life. And they're just had it. All they could think about now is, what if I'd have tried? Even if they would have failed, at least they would have known. Yeah.
And I kind of feel like I feel like every day I feel super blessed, just because I have that family who's, you know, supported me my whole life. And they've said, you know, if you want to do something, like, just do it. We're here to help. But it is the sad thing, because I've always felt like, you know, you don't know a lot of people who make it in this sort of industry. And I think it's because as people grow up, you give up on certain things that you thought maybe was possible when you were younger, but as you get older, you start thinking, because of society and everything, like, it's just not possible for me. But then the problem is they end up, you know, like, forcing those ideals on your kids, and then they think it's like kind of a vicious cycle.
And I think another part too is, you know, a lot of people, they see the money of a Blake Shelton, and then they see the brokenness of their brother-in-law or whoever, but they don't realize that that's extremes. There's so many people in between that are making a living off of music that you'll never hear their name. And that's what's great about the entertainment industry. You don't have to be the Blake Shelton just to make a really quality income from music. You can still be you, and you might not get to that level, and you might not even get known, but you can still make 50, 100, 150,000 a year, and people will not even know your name.
Yeah, and I would say 99% of artists start out, you know, really low, like broke, and it takes years and years to get to like a Blake Shelton level, right? I mean, someone like Ed Sheeran, he's talked about being homeless for a while before he finally made it. Like, it's just the process. That's really what it is.
Steve Harvey was homeless for 3 years. He lived out his car. Right. His big mistake, Steve Harvey, when I love his story, because he talks about,
you know, that's just, you just have to work at
it. Yep. And, you know, he worked at it for 3 years, living out of his car. And yet now look at where he's at.
That's dedication.
He's massive. I mean, everyone knows Steve Harvey.
Oh, yeah.
So now that we talked a little bit about the sacrifice side, let's go the other way. Let's talk a little bit about the glory. What are a few things where you're like, wow, I got to do that?
Well, one thing, I mean, this is separate from music, but just being able to do it in general was I'm a break dancer as well. And I got to perform on World of Dance with my crew, which is,
awesome.
It's a very big TV show, which I thought was just really cool to be a part of.
Wow.
So Derek Huff and Neo as the judges, and I got to be in front of them and do all that. So that was just really fun, and it was a good experience. As well as I got to be in, a couple like small little short films, which I just thought was really cool. And they were pretty quality short films to be a part of, and I just had a blast. I think that was it for me. I mean, music-wise, a lot of my accomplishments have been more like personal ones as of now, certain like things, like making my dad cry because the song was so good, like things like that. Like that really, like those are really like personal memories. Like, I remember for the rest of my life. So
most definitely.
Yes.
So as you know, a lot of people, they see the artist, but they don't see the teams behind them. In our opinion, teams never get the love they deserve. So tell us about the team that helps you be who you are.
Yeah, first and foremost, my family is a big part of my team. I mean, my dad's a musician. He's kind of been a mentor to me with songwriting.
Oh, wow.
My mom's so good at finding, like she found our producers, and my little sister's a songwriter too. So she's still a part of my team.
And she's coming on the show.
You can bounce ideas off. Yeah, she's great.
And she's coming on our show too.
She's awesome. She's like my best friend.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's going to be great. You'll love her. She's so funny. And my producer, Tommy, we met because my mom found him. And Tommy's been a very big part of the whole, just working together. He's been a massive deal. He's so talented. He's been around the industry for so long. In fact, it's really nice to kind of be with someone who's kind of a veteran and knows what they're doing, because I love old music, and you kind of get that sound, and then I bring that modern touch to the music. So it's I love that blend of an old sound sort of, but it's got
old school versus new school meets new old school meets new school.
Blend.
Yes, exactly.
Love that.
As well as my manager Nelson has been great. I mean, he's mainly my acting manager, but he's helped us too with music, and he's just been really, he's just a really nice guy, and I think that's what I look for a lot of the times. I want nice, genuine, good people around me. That's what I want to work with. I don't want to work with, hard to work with people. You don't want to work with people who are hard to work with.
No, definitely not.
And there's a lot of those out there.
There are
probably plenty. I'm very lucky that I haven't met too many yet, but I'm guessing it's going to come my way eventually.
Now, speaking of teams, we have a third co-host.
We do. Yes.
Sandy's going to go get him.
I will get him.
And we've got, like I said earlier, we got a 2-year-old that when she gets older, we'll be plugging her into the show too, because we are a family affair.
Yeah. What's your son's name?
It's Christopher.
Okay, that's a good name.
It better be.
Better be.
Yeah, because he better like it anyway.
Yeah.
He's gonna be a junior rest of his life.
Yeah, Christopher Jr.
But yeah, it's definitely crazy out there trying to have kids and grow a show and this crazy little one right here.
Yes.
Hi Taylor. So what's your favorite food?
Hey Christopher.
What's
my favorite food?
Yeah.
My favorite food. That's a good thing. Okay. I feel like my favorite food is probably a very specific food. It's a stuffed chicken breast from this restaurant, Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. That's probably my all-time favorite food.
Wow.
What's yours?
Mine is Los pizza. Okay, so what's your favorite TV show?
He's froze.
Give it just a second.
Yeah, you're froze a little bit.
I love pizza too. I can't lie. Tell me when I'm back.
Yeah.
Yep, there you're back.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so what's your favorite TV show?
Okay, this show. You're a little young for this show, but Game of Thrones was probably my all-time favorite show, along with probably South Park.
And what's yours?
Mine is SpongeBob.
That was one of my favorites too, growing up. I love SpongeBob as a kid.
Yes.
And what's been cool is because we watch a lot of he watched a lot of Nickelodeon shows. We've been able to bring a lot of this people that's on his shows onto our show, so that's been pretty cool for him.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yes. So,
Check to meet like
what's
Trey
your
Parker or
favorite
someone.
movie?
It used to be Braveheart by Mel Gibson, but as of like last year, it's now The Gentleman by Guy
And what's
Ritchie,
yours?
Mine is The Minions.
which my dad and I have
Oh
watched.
wow!
Yes.
The
He
Minions.
loves the Minions. Little Caitlin loves the Minions too.
I think I remember that movie. I think that was
Yeah,
a really funny movie
they
if I
got
remember.
Despicable Me, Despicable Me 2, and then the Minions movie.
Yep.
And Despicable Me 3.
Yep, and
That's
Despicable
right.
Me 3.
Yes.
They're milking in the money with that one.
And I think
Oh
it's
yeah,
supposed to be a Despicable Me 4 next year.
Yeah.
oh my
Yeah.
gosh, they just keep pumping them out.
Yeah, you know how TV is. Once they find something that works, they milk it until it don't.
Hey, because
Bye. Huh?
You froze, so
God, he's freezing up.
It does.
you ain't come back yet.
making Chris.
Yes.
Hear your voice.
Yeah.
I think you're back. Or
Maybe.
Back, I think.
Gotta love technology.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
I know, right? Just keep freezing up.
Hi.
Oh my gosh.
yep, there you are.
Bye.
Okay,
Thanks.
good. Hey, bye. Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you too.
Yeah, that's we love technology when it works, but boy, when it doesn't, it's rough.
Yes.
It's painful. It's very painful. Especially,
It is.
we've grown used to good technology too. So when it starts working bad, you're kind of like, ugh.
No.
The good thing about where we do our show is it's always same room, so there's no Wi-Fi, no nothing. It's all connected to the main line. So
Yeah.
So usually our parts,
Usually
it's been good,
to go.
but if
every once in a while.
Comcast ever has an issue, we got an issue.
Yeah.
That's probably really smart though. Make sure you're not using Wi-Fi because Wi-Fi just goes down whenever it feels like it.
Oh, it
Oh, yeah.
does. So spotty Wi-Fi.
Yeah, because even here, I've tested it, and we've watched
Yeah.
it where it's getting X amount of speed, and then a
Mhm.
minute later, it's like almost no speed. And it's like it goes.
Yeah.
I was
up
like, nope,
and down.
we've got to get that cable and run it to the computer, the laptop.
We did.
Yeah.
That's what scares me about, like, if we're ever traveling, it would be hard to do shows because you don't know where a good connection will be.
Yeah, you have no idea. You could be like, you might have to go to Starbucks or something just to get decent Wi-Fi. You never know.
Probably would have to.
Sir, you can't be here right now. You need to buy a coffee at least. Fine, give me anything.
Yeah.
So if you could co-write with any artist, dead or alive, who would it be?
Okay, I'll give you two. as of right now, like someone who's alive, John Mayer for me.
Oh yeah.
John Mayer.
He's awesome. Yeah.
I think he is a brilliant songwriter, and he's like, you know, he's like kind of everything I want to like push to be. It's like he's kind of that like goal. Like I think he needs a couple people that you're like trying to beat at, like, you know, like reach that level. And he's one of those people for me. He's so talented at songwriting. Like what me and my dad have always said is our goal is to push like, you know, thought-provoking, real like literate songwriting again, because we're losing that. We've been losing the lyricism, you know, that we used to have all the time. Like, so we're just pushing for that. And I think he's one of those people who's been doing that for years.
Wow.
As well as a weird one, but I would have loved to co-write with Bob Marley.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's a great one.
I got into him listening to his music all the time this last year, and I've just fallen in love. Like you just look like he's a real true songwriter. Like I just study all his music, and he was like a genius. Like the ideas he's coming up with, the melodies, everything. It's just I'm like a fanboy for Bob Marley. I'm gonna be honest.
Love that.
Yeah.
So in 2015, we interviewed Kelsey Ballerini, and one of the questions I asked was where she wanted to be in 5 years. And I always like to tell this story before I ask the guests that same question, because the answer she gave us back then is almost to the T of what she's living now. So she knew where she was going.
She had it planned out.
She had it planned out. So knowing that, where do you want to be in 5 years?
I usually tell people, because I tell people this: there's a big goal in my head, and I use it as sort of like a thing to strive for. And it's always been the Grammys for me. It's always been the Grammys. I just want to win a Grammy. And I feel like when I win that Grammy, that's like my way of solidifying myself in this industry, like permanently.
That's like we want to win an Emmy for the show.
Yeah.
That's kind of our little vision.
Someday.
So if I can win a Grammy in 5 years, that would be really impressive, actually. That would be really impressive.
That'd be really impressive. I mean, things do happen, and it's really great.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard this one quote, and I use it all the time. It's plan B distracts from plan A. And I fully believe that. So I'm sticking with plan A forever, I guess.
and you know, that's the thing. I love that you said that, because, you know, a lot of these big artists, they'll get interviewed, and the host always has this one question that they always ask. And they're always taken aback by the answer. Because they're always like, if music didn't work, what would you be doing today? And 95% of them would say, I would just be a broke musician because I had no plan B.
Yeah, I agree with that. For me, it's always been like, I think the difference for me between anything else, like between music, acting, school, dance, all that for me is those are all enjoyably fun, and I want to do it. But music is something I feel like I need to do. Like no matter, like I don't think I could live without writing music all the time. Like it's like, and more than just like an emotional outlet, it's like I feel like it's always in my head. Like I don't know how to like fully explain that, but I feel like I'm always thinking of music.
Like it's a part of you. Yeah.
She's same way with music, and I'm same way with the show.
Lyricist, yeah, I love music also.
And so we, you know, and that's the crazy thing is, you know, it's like she followed my passions for many years, so I was like, you know what, let's follow yours. And little did I know that I was going to move myself right into her passions with this show.
Yeah, we sort of blended them well here. All right, and how would you describe your? Yep. How would you describe your music to someone who hasn't heard it before?
I would say, I usually like a broad statement. I would say multi-genre pop, because I don't feel like I'm, you know, I don't feel like I'm kept down with like one genre. I like to jump around a lot, because whatever inspires me.
Wow.
Plus, I just say, I'm going to bring back a bit of an old sound while keeping it modern. You know, I just love old music. And I think I think I want to bring back the great songwriters of the generations, and I just feel like we're sort of losing that. So I just want to bring that back.
Wow.
Awesome.
Love that.
Love that. And what would you like your legacy to be as an artist? What would you like to ultimately be known and remembered for?
I think my ultimate goal for the rest of my life is to have just one song be in like the top 200 songs of all time. Just one song.
Oh, wow.
I do that. My career would be a massive success.
Gotta love technology.
And maybe make a lot.
Yeah.
It's funny, but you know what? We've done 400 shows, and we've learned to kind of let it play it out.
Roll with it, yeah.
We roll with it.
Yes.
Yeah. How much did you hear first?
None of it.
A little bit
At the very beginning.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
And what's funny is little Chris, he don't understand it yet. So when you froze earlier, he's like, "Oh, he's," because I try not to say it in it and because usually it plays itself out, but every now and then
we've learned
it doesn't.
Just roll with it, but he's learning. Yes.
Okay, I'm back now.
Yep,
I think I'm
You're
back.
back. We can see and hear you. Yes.
All right, perfect.
So, what's next for you?
I think I'm just trying to build a fan base, to be honest. I think right now I'm trying to build a fan base and try to write a hit song.
Yeah, of course.
That would be great. Just to write get my song on the radio would be an incredible accomplishment by itself. So I think right now it's just build a fan base, write all the time, try to get, a hit song out and start performing live,
So what advice would you give somebody who's just starting out?
There's a saying me and my dad say all the time, and it's, if you can write a hit song, you can write your ticket.
That's
so
true.
I would tell them to write music. Don't just trust your singing ability or your musicianship. Write every day and really practice writing, because you want to be as independent in this industry as possible. You don't want to have to rely on so many people for your own career. And if you can write music, I already think you're 10 times better than most of the competition if you can write good songs.
Wow.
Love that. So as we come to a close here, tell everybody how they can find you.
Yes. You can find me on social media at Taylor D McIntosh. So on Facebook, it's Taylor D McIntosh. On Instagram, it's Taylor D McIntosh. And TikTok, it's Taylor D McIntosh. And if you want to look up my music, just look up Taylor McIntosh.
Love that. And we really enjoyed having you on the show today. And we definitely look forward to not only having you back, but having your sister on.
June 23rd.
June 23rd.
Yes.
I think you froze. I'm guessing he's a little froze, so we will go on to end this, everybody. We really enjoyed it, and we'll see you again tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah,
thanks.